Hello, my name is Jackie Fletcher. I'm the clinical lead for pressure ulcers for NHS England. And I'm here today with Cara. Cara is a 37-year-old who's recently had twins, and she wants to tell us about her experience in hospital and how she developed pressure ulcers. So, Cara, can you tell us what happened to you?
Yeah, I was taken into hospital to be induced to give birth to my twins. Um, and the induction process took around 4 days. And I was on a labour bed for that time. Because I had twins, I was having to have a fetal heart monitor on both of the twins to check as the process was going along. The twin A that was lowest down was in an awkward position to get the heart monitor reader on him. So I had to be sat into sort of all my weight on one buttock, so they could get a really good reading. And because they had to have a full 20 minutes every hour, if the heart reading stopped, we had to start again. So it meant that a long time throughout the process of being induced, I was sat in this awkward position. And it caused me a lot of pain in that side.
So, you had all your weight on one buttock for
Yeah,
almost 4 days.
yeah, yeah.
And you mentioned the pain. How bad was the pain related just to the pressures you developed, not to having the babies?
Yeah, they gave me gas and air for the pain. I had pethidine, and a third day in, sat in that awkward position, I was in agony, and I wasn't in actual labour yet. I had no labour, I wasn't contracting, and there was no labour pains. But the pain that had from my buttock was causing me that much pain that they gave me an epidural that evening, because I was in tears the whole time. So I actually had the epidural before I went into labour for the pain that the pressure sore was causing.
And obviously, the epidural doesn't help because it means you can't feel and you stay in the position, so more immobile. Now, we're really pleased that you managed to deliver safely two babies.
Yeah.
What happened after?
So it was not that day or the next day, it was the following day. My mum helped me into the shower because I couldn't stand up on my own. I was really struggling to put any weight on my legs. I thought it was from the labour, but as my mum was helping me into the shower, she saw this huge bruise, what she would describe as a bruise, and alerted the midwife. So they came back in to have a look, and they checked it, and they told me it was a grade 2 pressure ulcer. And then on, obviously I realised what it was, and everybody else realised what it was that had been causing so much pain for the few days before I actually delivered.
And what was the worst thing about having the pressure ulcer for you?
The fact that it was when I was giving birth to my children. So I, in my head, imagined that I would be the first one to pick them up, first one to change their nappies, first one to give them their first feed. And because I couldn't wait there in any way, and I was in a lot of pain and on painkillers, pain relief, my mum had to do all those first, through the night. She stayed with me in hospital for 3 days. She did all the night feeding. Yeah, so everything that I thought I'd be doing with my children the first time, my mum actually had to do it.
So, what should have been a really joyous thing and all those first that you imagined, you never got to do. You can never
no,
replace that, can you?
no, it was extremely, it was overwhelming, and obviously I was very emotional. You are obviously anyway when you have a baby, but because of those things stopping me from doing the things that I imagined that I would be doing, it was more emotional for me. Yeah. So.
And I guess it's hard in retrospect to say because now you know a lot more, you've gone through the process. But what do you wish you'd known at the time? What do you wish you'd maybe asked about?
I had no idea about pressure sores, pressure ulcers. I didn't know you could get them from just being sat in a seat. My only knowledge of them would have been like old people's homes. That's what I thought. They were the people who would get a pressure sore. Never knew anything about it. So if I had known about it, I would maybe have asked to be put into a different chair or a different bed even. But because I didn't have any of that knowledge, I didn't ask any of the questions that maybe would have led to not having a pressure sore.
And that's the challenge, isn't it? When you're not in a typical group, you don't know about it. And that's why it's so important that we get this message out there. And I think a lot of the general public, exactly like you, think that a pressure sore or a pressure ulcer, whichever phrase you want to use, is a bit of a sore bottom. It's a little bit of redness. We put some cream on it and it goes away. But I think your experience tells us how much more significant that is. And
Yeah.
thank you for telling us about that impact it had on you, because I can tell it's still upsetting to you. And your little ones are 3 now, aren't they? So it's not just at the
Yeah.
time, it's
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
So thank you, Cara, for sharing your experience. We do appreciate it. And remember that the pressure ulcers don't just happen to old people in nursing homes. They do happen to people like Cara, who in labour, and other young people, and anybody who has immobility or lack of sensation. Thank you very much, Cara.
Okay.